Beautiful day on the bay. Welcome to the Coliseum in Oakland, California. 1-2 Tennessee and the unbeaten Raiders. Steve McNair leads the Titans with designs on rebounding from last week's devastating defeat to Cleveland. Oakland presents the phenomenal all-pro receiving tandem. Tim Brown, best in Raider history, and ageless Jerry Rice, arguably the best at his position in NFL history. The kickoff coming up. A beautiful day, close to 60,000 here. Dick Enberg with Dan Dierdorf. What's in store?
Well, you mentioned the devastating loss to Cleveland for Tennessee, Dick. How are they going to recover from that? Jeff Fisher says the mindset of this team isn't great. Obviously, the Raiders, undefeated, well-rested, at home, and if you looked at their first two wins, they're doing everything, and I mean everything, very well.
Raiders #1 offense in the NFL, and Janikowski, the Polish cannon, booms one deep into the end zone where Eddie Berlin takes the knee, and Tennessee goes on the attack at their own 20-yard line. Steve McNair, the veteran quarterback from Alcorn State, has a string of 16 consecutive games with a touchdown pass, off to a 5-touchdown, 2-interception start. Those are his numbers, modest, only 107 yards passing in that loss to Cleveland in overtime last week at home when the Titans had a 2-touchdown lead with 5 minutes left. Crowd comes alive as McNair sets him up at the 20. Comes out throwing. Deep pattern, and it's intercepted. They go after the rookie Philip Buchanan, and Buchanan in his first start, the Raiders' #1 draft pick, has the interception.
Well, obviously, Dick, a decision by Steve McNair to throw this up there and let Kevin Dyson try to make the play regardless of how well he is covered, because Buchanan had textbook coverage right from the line of scrimmage. He had him inside out. There is no way that Kevin Dyson can go up and make that play. That's a risky way to start a football game, and what a magnificent, colossal backfire.
And Buchanan, the #1 pick out of Miami of Florida, shows why he was so highly touted, playing for the injured Charles Woodson, and his coverage was perfect on Dyson. So the Raiders start in Tennessee territory at the 46-yard line. Boy, home crowd, everyone raring to cheer as it is. As Jeff Fisher over to talk with Bob McElwee in the white hat, the referee today.
Is challenging the ruling on the field that it is an interception.
So a challenge on that interception by Buchanan, perhaps claiming that he did not stay in bounds. He's well in bounds.
Well, I think it's going to be, did he have possession of the football? You see the football comes loose, and you know what? That might be a good challenge. You've got to hit the ground and hold on to the football after you hit the ground.
Can't see quite from that angle.
Well, the ball was on top of him, but you have to demonstrate that you have control of the football. Yes, he's holding on to it, and Dyson drives Buchanan into the ground, but then the ball comes loose after he hits the ground. Well, this is going to be an interesting call for Bob McElwee.
Meanwhile, Buchanan paying dividends. He's part of that John Gruden trade when Gruden went to Tampa Bay and the Buccaneers unloaded their drafts to Oakland. Buchanan was their #1 pick.
After reviewing the play, the intercepting player fails to keep possession throughout the play. It is an incomplete pass.
Well,
Tennessee is not charged with a timeout. It's 2nd and 10 on the 20-yard line.
I think Bob McElwee did exactly what he had to do. You must hit the ground and keep possession of the football for it to be either an interception or a reception. And in this case, Philip Buchanan, because I think of Dyson landing right on top of him.
Jeff Fisher.
Yep.
And he had help, obviously, from his coaches upstairs to say, challenge it.
How badly did they need that?
Oh, and how about the Raiders? You can imagine their memory doesn't have to be long to go back to New England in the snow, and many fans and players can't quite digest that loss to New England that may have cost them a Super Bowl. So a second chance for Tennessee. And there's a false start against the tight end. Frank Wycheck.
False start, 89 offense. 5 yards, second down.
So it'll be second down and 15. Let's check the Titans as they start on offense with Steve McNair. Here are the blockers: Hopkins, Pillar, DiNapoli. For Bruce Matthews retired, Olsen and Miller. And in the backfield for Tennessee, Eddie George, perennial All-Pro. Camella, the former Giants, the blocker. Mason and Dyson outside, and Wycheck, a Pro Bowler at tight end. Second and 15 from the 15. McNair under pressure. Wobbly pass going to be intercepted by Rod Woodson. And the veteran Woodson, who has 10 touchdowns with interceptions, picks off another to add to his incredible mark. Has 62 in his career.
Well, and none of them easier than this. Steve McNair is going to get hit in the act of throwing. He tries to step up, tries to find something, and his arm gets struck just as he's trying to throw it. Looked like Sam Adams. Yep, it is Sam Adams who interferes. And look at that thing straight up in the air. I'll guarantee you those 62, Dick, none of them for Rod Woodson were easier than that.
Woodson's first as a Raider, leading active player in interceptions.
Well, Big Sam Adams, signed only back in mid-August, pays his first really big dividend.
Gannon underneath. And it's a running back, Charlie Garner, for a touchdown. Oh my, that didn't take long. "17 yards on the touchdown to Garner, the running back."
Well, no surprise that the Raiders opened right up throwing the football, running everybody deep. Charlie Garner runs about a 2-yard crossing pattern. And is there any quarterback in football hitting that short route better than Rich Gannon?
Janikowski adds the extra point. The Raiders had not scored a point in the first half against the Titans in the last 3 games. It took them only a matter of seconds to score today as we go to New York for this update.
All right, thank you, Dick. On the first play of overtime, Tommy Maddox of the Steelers was intercepted. It set up this kick. Dawson from 45 for the win for the Browns. Misses. And now the Steelers behind Maddox and Bettis are driving inside the 30. Football at the 28 of the Browns in overtime. Let's go back to Dick and Dan.
All right, Jim, and of course that rivalry, the Steelers and the Browns, through decades has been one of the hottest, and another great game. And then a very important overtime. That seems as if Cleveland, is that in the contract?
There's a lot of entertainment value with the Cleveland Browns so far this season.
And so with a 7-0 lead, only 21 seconds into the game, it'll be Janikowski kicking off again to John Simon and Eddie Berlin. And we welcome those of you who have been watching Houston and Philadelphia. We're at the Oakland Coliseum, the Eagles beating the young Texans 35-17. Well, for the Raiders, with only 21 seconds gone in this game, they've taken a 7-0 lead as Rod Woodson with an interception and a first play touchdown pass from Rich Gannon to Charlie Garner. John Simon cannot take it out as Janikowski roots it deep again. So the game started. The first play, McNair intercepted, it appeared, but they overruled that on a challenge. And here's the first and only play for the Raiders. Garner underneath from Gannon.
Well, it was just textbook that they ran the secondary deep, and then Charlie Garner, such a gifted receiver. That's his second receiving touchdown of the season in this young season. Remember, the Raiders were off last week. The 7-second scoring drives are always a good thing.
Steve McNair Deafening noise here at the Coliseum in Oakland. The Raiders appeared to be offside. Eddie George. A gain of 1, and we'll check the flag. Eric Barton made the tackle. Bob McElwee is our referee. And it was an offside. It appeared to be the defensive left end for the Raiders.
Offside, number 99, defense, jumped into the neutral zone. 5 yards, first down.
5 yards in the penalty. A check of the Raiders' starting defensive alignment. DeLawrence Grant ticketed on that offside. Big Sam Adams and John Perella, 2 acquisitions, join Tony Bryant. It's Romanowski, Harris the rookie, and Barton the linebackers. Buchanan almost an interception in his first start. Torrey James at the corners with Gibson and Rod Woodson. And Woodson with his 62nd interception in his career to set up the Raiders score as Eddie George close to a first down at the 29-yard line. Eddie George, 300 carries, 6 straight years. Some are wondering just how much that's taken out of this great back from Ohio State.
Well, less than a 3-yard per rush average so far this season, Dick, at 2.8. And Eddie George is the figurehead of this franchise. They are a smash-mouth football team that has been their moniker over the years. If they don't get back to that, I think they're in big trouble.
2nd and 1. George tries this side. It has a blocker and into the infield dirt. Oakland A's, of course, on their way to the playoffs. This is their home field. It's a first down at the 34. We asked George in our meeting yesterday, there's only so much fuel in the tank of a National Football League running back. Where does the needle rest right now? And he said, I think I've got 75% left. And for a man of his talent, if that's the case, then Tennessee will have a happy year.
As you can see, he's had some remarkable games against the Raiders in the past.
Averaged 146 yards in the last 3 games against Oakland.
Against Cleveland last week, though, he only had 59 on 23 carries.
Barely got the play off, and McNair somehow gets out of it and is able to throw it away and save a big loss.
Sam Adams had him wrapped up. And that is where the real physical presence of Steve McNair shows itself. Even as big as Sam is at 330 pounds, Steve McNair, a big, strong, agile guy.
Meanwhile, Derek Mason out on the wing was trying to call time. He thought they were going to have to consume a delay of game penalty, but McNair just got it off. George to the 35-yard line, a gain of only a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Bryant and Adams in on the stop. And joining us as well here in Oakland, down on the field, here's Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Dick, Phillip Buchanan may have had that interception turned back, but talk about a kid who's cool as a cucumber. I talked to him before the game, and if his bloodlines are any indication of his future success, guess who his cousin is? Defensive end Javon Curse for the Titans, who didn't make the trip because he's hurt. But he talked to him during the week, and Javon gave him some good advice. He said, just do what you do best. I guess the kid can listen, too, huh?
That's right. Some good bloodlines there. Curse will perhaps join Tennessee at midseason. Throw underneath is complete to the tight end. No, it's Drew Bennett, the wide receiver from UCLA, hit immediately by Terran Shaw, the extra defensive back in the Raider secondary, and that will not be enough for a first down. On comes Craig Hentrick and the Tennessee punting team.
Well, Dick, actually both those guys are playing because of superstars sitting this one. Javon Curse isn't playing. And Buchanan is starting because Charles Woodson, the corner for the Raiders, who broke his shoulder a couple weeks ago, is going to be out for another 3 or 4 weeks. So that's why Buchanan's getting the start over there at the left corner spot. So a couple of the game's big players not here today.
Hendrick sends a wobbler toward Buchanan at the 18. Oh, he's in the open.
See ya.
Nobody's going to catch Phillip Buchanan. And what a debut for this kid from Miami. 83 yards, and it's 13-0.
It's not often that a team suffers a loss that hurts as much as what happened to the Titans last week. A little over 5 minutes to go, a 14-point lead against Cleveland, and they lose. The questions all week, how are they going to respond from that devastating loss? Might be too early to jump to conclusions, but Dick, it doesn't appear that they've gotten over it.
Janikowski adds the extra point. Good job by Lechler in setting it up. And Jeff Fisher sees his team down by 2 touchdowns, and we have not as yet played 4 minutes in the game.
I mentioned Charles Woodson, the Heisman Trophy winner from Michigan. First game since high school that he hasn't been able to play. They said his injury about a 6-week injury, so we'll see. Well, take a look at this. Starts to the sideline. And that's just no contest. Craig Hendrick, the punter, he tries to get over there and wave. Maybe he should have dove for him, but that's with 10 yards in either direction. No punter is going to get Phillip Buchanan.
Well, he was quite
how about this?
He was quite a baseball player in high school, and it's like an inside the park home run for Phillip Buchanan.
And actually, that's kind of like watching John Gruden run for a touchdown.
Yes.
Because Phillip Buchanan was at a little tug on the jersey right there. But you know, Phillip Buchanan was drafted with one of the draft choices that the Oakland Raiders got from Tampa Bay. With John Gruden going to Tampa Bay, the Raiders received 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, and one of those number 1s produced Phillip Buchanan. So paying off early.
14-0 in Buchanan's debut as a starter. Janikowski won't give the Titans a chance to return one. Eddie Berlin kneels. It'll be at the 20 for McNair. It'll go to New York and Jim Nance.
All right, Dick, the Steelers and the Browns. Peterson tried the winner from 24. It was blocked, but the Steelers recovered, so he gets a second try. This one from 31 wins it. Cleveland won it last week in overtime, going down to defeat today. Pittsburgh the winner. Let's go back to Dick and Dan.
The start of this season, Dan, the overtime games, and how many have come right down to that final play. This one doesn't start that way. It doesn't hint of that sort of conclusion. Working in the enemy field, down 14-0 early. Let's see what McNair and the Titans can do.
Well, they better do something.
McNair throws it away. Welcome those of you who have seen that overtime game.
That's got to be intentional grounding. He was between the tackles.
As the Steelers and the Cleveland Browns go overtime, the Steelers win. And here, the start for the Oakland Raiders, who are off a bye week and won their first 2 games, has just been stunning in terms of what has happened to Tennessee.
Grounding, number 9 offense. Loss of down. The ball stays at the spot of the foul.
Steve McNair did not leave the tackle box, and then on his way down, obviously, in an attempt to avoid a sack, just throws it away, no one near, not back to the line of scrimmage. And oh, what Jeff Fisher wouldn't give to take his team back up the tunnel, come out for introductions, and try to start this again.
The Raiders have had only 1 offensive play, and they lead 14-0. Second and long. McNair dumps it off to George, and George attracts a sea of black jerseys, able to wiggle out across the 10-yard line, and veteran Bill Romanowski makes the tackle. For those of you just joining us, the interception by Rod Woodson to the Tennessee 17, first play Gannon to garner touchdown. Then they stop Tennessee, and the kick by Craig Hendrick goes to Phillip Buchanan, the rookie from Miami, takes it 83 yards for a touchdown, 14-0. Welcome those of you who have been watching the Miami Dolphins and Kansas City Chiefs. Another high-scoring effort by Kansas City. Flag down as Eddie George takes the pass from McNair, far short of a first down. We'll check the penalty. Rod Woodson makes the tackle on George. Dick Enberg, Dan Dierdorf, Bonnie Bernstein here at the Oakland Coliseum as the Oakland Raiders jump out to a 14-0 lead. Everything right for the Raiders.
Illegal formation, number 72. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Brad Hopkins, the left tackle, with the penalty. Tennessee will kick it again. The last time Hendrick sent it in the air, the rookie Buchanan took it at his 17, and there he is again and raced untouched. 83 yards for a touchdown.
Tennessee right now, Dick, shell-shocked is the only word that comes to mind. These guys have to be as wide-eyed as a group of professionals could possibly be.
Hendrick sends up a high spiral. Buchanan drifting on the infield dirt to the 26, back to the 25, reverses it, and here they go again. Terry Kirby. Kirby's in the open, and the Raiders are going to lead 21-0, and it only had one offensive play from scrimmage. My, oh my.
Well, I thought there was a blatant block in the back to spring that run, and it wasn't called. This is mind-numbing for Tennessee. Watch the block. It's going to come in from the right side. Well, in the reverse. There goes the reverse. Right there. I think that's number 56, Travion Smith, from behind. And how that didn't get called, I have no idea whatsoever.
That was in the open, but it was not flagged. And so Janikowski for the extra point and a 21-0 early lead. Unbelievable.
Well, the folks in Tennessee got to be upset about that one. A blatant block from behind springs Kirby for a 6-pointer.
Just 5 minutes 24 seconds have been played. The Raiders have had one offensive play from scrimmage and lead 21-0. Janikowski again sends it deep to John Simon, and he's a weapon in his own right. He doesn't give the other team a chance for a kickoff return. We'll take a timeout. 9:36 left in the opening quarter. Sam Adams keeping cool. 21-0 Oakland. 3 punts now returned against Tennessee in 4 games for touchdowns. There it is. One offensive play, and that was the Gannon to Garner touchdown pass. 2 punt returns for a touchdown. Bill Callahan, the first time he's been a head coach at any level, and everyone really in tremendous admiration for Callahan and this chance as the Oakland head man, and we were impressed as well in our meeting. Well, Tennessee, they start from the 20 again, and a loss is charging through as Travion Smith to make the defensive play.
Watch the clip. You're going to see it come after the exchange right here. But Rocky Boyd right there, number 50, is in a position. And look at, he's pleading to the official, hit from behind. And then there's actually another clip down the field. But this one right here, look how blatant that is. And then Jeff Fisher just went wild during the commercial break. He's incredulous as to how the officiating crew missed that out in the middle of the open field.
Second down and a long 13. McNair underneath. It's Derek Mason, and Mason, the leading receiver, 17 catches on the year, picks up a good game. Let's go to New York in this update.
All right, Dick, I don't think there's a more exciting team right now than the Bills. They were in overtime today for the 3rd time in 4 games, and Bledsoe gets it over to Travis Henry, and he'll run it in for the win. 33-27. Buffalo the winner today over Chicago. Let's go back out to Dick and Dan.
This rash of overtime games in the NFL.
Jim Nantz got the best seat in the house there. Staying up with all these different. We're jealous.
What are the odds on this one going overtime?
Slim.
Sadly. McNair underneath. Short yardage, has a first down pass to Derek Mason. Mason out to the 33-yard line. That's the second first down. And Romo, Bill Romanowski, hard to picture him in that silver and black after as many years in Denver, but he said, you know, I just got too old for that team. I didn't have any pals anymore. They're all so young. Well, he's got plenty of men in his age group here. 6 of them are 36 years or older on the Raider roster.
He's a veritable child with this group here. But I know what that's like. Your friends all move on. They retire. They're all playing for somebody else. And all of a sudden, even though the young guys are good guys, you're a little lonely.
First down, Tennessee at the 34. George hit in the backfield and able to fight for a yard or two. DeLawrence Grant makes the tackle. Lots happening in the NFL today. Jim Nantz is busy. What do you got for us?
It has been some exciting day. You were right, Dick. Down the California coast at San Diego, the Patriots strike first. Brady to Christian Fourier, and it's 7-0 New England. Let's go back out to Oakland.
All right, thanks, Jim. A battle of unbeatens down to the south. Eddie George shaking a bit on that last tackle, and John Simon, a rookie free agent from Louisiana Tech, number 45 in the backfield. They're very high on this young man. Good receiver. Out of the backfield, they throw underneath, incomplete. Went through the hands of Derek Mason. Torrey James on the cover.
The training staff was over there moving the neck of Eddie George around, trying to, I don't know if he took a shot to the head or he had maybe a stinger in the back. I think everybody who's played any sport has had it just disintegrate on you very early on, and it's one of the most difficult positions in the world to find yourself in, because you literally can only do it one play at a time, and yet it seems insurmountable, Dick.
21-0 head start for the Raiders on 3rd and 9. McNair down the middle, complete. Drew Bennett, and Bennett has enough for a first down at midfield. Just to throw in another note, it's the first time in Raider history with all their great kick returners that they've had 2 punt returns for touchdowns in a game, much less in a quarter.
Well, here we got the UCLA kid Bennett, and he puts a good fake, a good shoulder move to the outside on Torrey James, and really gets James out of position, and then it's Rod Woodson who kind of jumps on for a piggyback ride.
Right out there at second base.
That was a nifty little sideline fake, though, by Bennett. Good move.
Fake to Simon, and McNair wanted to go long. Instead goes to Simon. And Simon with good speed. Make that to Green, rather. To the 29-yard line. And a first down. Green, the third-year running back from the University of Houston, only his second catch of this young season.
You're right, he wanted to go deep, but I think Torrey James took the coverage away. Eddie looks left, and boy, he double cocks and really wants to go, but Torrey James really had super coverage down the field. Smart there by McNair, checking down and finding Green, who doesn't go out of bounds all that easily.
21 yards on the play. First down at the 29-yard line. George still on the bench. Mason, make it Dyson in motion. Here's Simon. And only a yard or two. That is the 18th offensive play for Tennessee. The Raiders have had 1. If you were just joining us and we gave you that number, you would think the score would be reversed. But the 2 punt return touchdowns are the difference.
Obviously, running plays a terribly overrated thing.
Just wait for the kick. Just wait. By the way, they're blocking for the punt returners. We'll put Deerdorf back there.
Rich Gannon and the crew, they're going to have to warm up again. They're going to
run around the field once.
Maybe a couple laps just to get the old blood flowing.
On 2nd and 8, McNair throws underneath to Simon. And he is tackled at the 23-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Napoleon Harris, first-round draft pick out of Northwestern, number 58, and Bill Romanowski on the tackle.
Well, Harris, 58. It's really risky business starting a rookie at middle linebacker. But the Raiders have a real luxury in that they have 2 huge defensive tackles in front of him who are veterans in John Perella and Sam Adams. And when you've got quality like that to keep some separation away from your middle linebacker, you can get away with playing a youngster in the middle.
6'2" and 255, played at Northwestern. 3rd down, McNair fires, and an excellent play made by Derek Mason, leaning back on the slider as it drew Bennett. It's Bennett who comes up with it, and it's a first down. That's a tough catch, sliding and had to reach on the ground in front of Torrey James.
Initially, it didn't look like this pass from McNair was going to have enough gas. because it starts to do a little nosedive into the ground, and that is just outstanding work by Bennett, going back and digging this ball out without letting it hit the ground. Now that is a beautiful catch.
And a big catch on third down that gives the Titans a 1st and goal just outside the 5. And who knows, with a score here, might bring them life, and McNair has to spend a timeout. 3:22 left in this first quarter. The Raiders by 21. Welcome back. Big Brad Hopkins, the Tennessee left tackle. They tape up a little finger to the ring finger. If you were a quarterback, you might be out for half a year. He'll go in the next play.
Either broke it or dislocated it. That's what you do. You just tape it to the next one. And if you break that one, you tape it to the next one.
Eddie George returns. 1st and goal at the 5. It's George. And he's toppled at the 1-yard line. Derek Gibson coming up from the secondary along with Torrey James.
Well, what a good, solid drive this has been by the Tennessee Titans, trying to get back into this football game. You know, obviously Tennessee's just winning this game because they're, look at those stats. Oops, until you get over to that one over there.
21 plays for the Tennessee Titans, 21 points for the Raiders.
One single offensive play for the Raiders. It's
never seen anything like it.
Nor have I. Not a start like this.
And the Raiders this time spend a timeout. 2:47 left in the opening quarter. And welcome back with the Raiders leading early 21-0. Jeff Fisher sees his team 2nd and goal at the 1. One of the things they have done well, the Titans, their red zone offense. 5 touchdowns and 5 possessions in goal to go. Eddie George in his 100th consecutive start at tailback. And he gets the call up the middle, plows his way in for the touchdown. He's 3rd all time in consecutive starts for a running back. Walter Payton at 170, Ricky Waters 114, and George at 100 today.
Well, some of this is feel, because he knows that once he gets hit, it's not over, but the rest of it is leg drive. Eddie George actually got hit back about the 2-yard line, but he didn't panic, didn't try to burrow underneath. He just bounced off it, just kicked about half a hole to the left, and then went on into the end zone. That's experience, Dick.
Joe Nedney, the left-footed kicker for the Titans, adds the extra point. What a start. 2:43 left in the opening quarter. George and the Titans pull within 14. And welcome back to Oakland, where the Raiders and Bill Callahan, their new head coach, lead 21-7. The kickoff by Nedney is short down to Derek Holmes. And Holmes with a flag down. They saw the penalty this time, and the tackle made around the 17-yard line. Mike Eccles makes the stop.
They'll probably throw a flag on the Raiders kicking game every play of the rest of the game.
Back, number 41 of the receiving team.
Eric Johnson with the penalty.
To the goal line, 1st down.
Yeah, for those of you joining us late, here's the lightning start here today.
Well, right off the bat, and the Raiders won offensive play. They get a touchdown pass to Charlie Garner. Then Philip Buchanan, the rookie, on a punt return. He goes the distance, 83 yards. And all of a sudden, Tennessee's in a huge hole. They can't do anything offensively. Guess what? They punt it again, and on a handoff, Terry Kirby takes it 79 yards. And then finally, down 21-0, Eddie George pounds it in to make it a game within 2 touchdowns. And here we are, what, Dick, at the 2-minute and 34 mark of the first quarter. We're about to watch the Raiders run their 2nd play.
It's just incredible. And the fake, and Gannon then throws into the flat after he had faked to Tim Brown on a reverse. He throws to Brown, and a gain of around 8 yards. Gannon incomplete to Brown. Will bring up 3rd down and 3. Andre Dyson on the coverage. Tim Brown. He's in an interesting dilemma. He told us, he said, Super Bowl week. We're expecting twins in the Brown household. We'll work it out.
Another one of those 36-year-old guys that dots this Raider roster, and one of the classiest acts that's ever played in this league.
Another Heisman winner. Gannon underneath, complete. And it'll be enough for a first down to Charlie Garner, the running back from Tennessee. Keith Bulluck on the coverage. Now the Raiders, who threw the ball and then threw the ball and threw it again against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Gannon went 43 for 64. Those are Raider records for completions and attempts.
And here go the Raiders without a huddle. Not necessarily a hurry up, but a no huddle. Trying to limit Tennessee's substitution.
Fisher knew this was coming, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
There's the throw to the tight end. Doug Jolly, the rookie from BYU. Bullock, who has good speed at that linebacker position, able to make the play.
Yeah, Jeff told us yesterday that Cleveland put 21 points against us when they were in the spread formation. So you know the Raiders are going to do it to us. Good work in the middle, though. That's outstanding coverage. Bullock just smothering the tight end, didn't give him any look at all, and that was a pretty good job of Gannon by overthrowing it just to get rid of it. You don't want when you're protecting a 14-point lead, don't be silly with the ball in your own end of the field.
Tyrone Wheatley in motion, again an empty backfield, and Gannon goes up the middle, complete. It's Jerry Rice in the open. 50, 35. Will they catch him? 20, 10, and down at the 7.
Unbelievable. And I just want to venture an opinion here. For somebody that might say because he's 39 years old, maybe he's lost a step. I'm not sure Jerry Rice would have scored on that play when he was 25 years old. But I'll tell you one thing. He's just as fast as he was when he was 25 years. He was never a blazer. But isn't it? I'm just glad I was here to see Jerry Rice running in the open field like that.
Amen. 75 yards, Stan.
If you have any sense of the history and the lore of this game.
I mean, he's going to pass. He's going to pass Walter Payton as a receiver in most yards from scrimmage.
Just anybody, that's Samari Rolle, the very talented corner from Tennessee that's down on the field injured. But if the hair on the back of your neck doesn't stand up when you see Jerry Rice running like that with the football, then I don't know why you're watching, because it's so beautiful, such a big part of the game. Look how perfectly Rich Gannon puts it. Catches Jerry in stride, splits the zone of the Titans. And it's just, we won't see it forever, folks. Enjoy it while we can.
He's going to turn 40 in just a couple of weeks, and out of Mississippi Valley State, the 49ers 18 seasons ago. What a pick that was by Bill Walsh.
And meanwhile, the injury to Samari Rolle, this is really, he's the best defensive back. He's the guy that's Rolle coming in from the right, and he goes over the top of Jerry Rice. Lance Schulters is the guy that caught Rice, and then Rolle coming over from the middle trying to clean up. Really reluctant to put any weight on that one injured leg, and this is a critical loss for the Titans.
First and goal, Raiders at the 6-yard line. Wheatley and Ritchie now the running backs with Brown in motion. Wheatley burrows his way for about 3. Tyrone Wheatley used sparingly thus far this year on the ground. 78 yards rushing coming in. Mike Eccles has replaced Samari Rolle at the corner. Eccles, a rookie from Wisconsin, number 36.
You just have to love, though, the Raiders' ability to throw different styles at you from the running back position. Tyrone Wheatley, the power, but a guy with more speed than you would imagine for a guy that size. And then, of course, the elusiveness and shiftiness of Charlie Garner. I don't know how you get a better match than those two together.
Well, a remarkable, extraordinary quarter comes to an end here in Oakland. With our producer Lance Barrow and Mike Arnold, our director Dick Enberg, Dan Deerdorf, Bonnie Bernstein. Welcome to the second quarter here in Oakland, California, on a beautiful day on the east side of the bay. Second and goal for the Raiders at the 3. John Ritchie and Tyrone Wheatley split backs. Tim Brown in motion, and no play. Flag thrown by the linesman.
There goes a flag. There was a good left hook, a right hook rather, thrown by Barrett Robbins, and he'll be lucky if he don't get thrown out of the game.
Robbins, the center, number 63.
You don't see a guy throw a punch out in the open quite that. That was a good right cross. I don't know who threw the first one, but Barrett Robbins threw the one that everybody saw.
Offense, that penalty is declined. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 63 offense. That penalty is accepted. 15 yards, second down.
Barrett Robbins is very fortunate that he wasn't sent to the locker room by Bob McElwain. Here he is right here. Now watch what happens. He gets pushed back. Ooh, there it goes. That was a pretty good one. That was a good pop right to the face mask. I'm sure it might have been Albert Hainsworth, the Titan, that he hit. Normally a punch like that will get you ejected. And it almost certainly will get him a phone call from Gene Washington in the NFL office.
Second and goal, and they hand it off to Charlie Garner. And Garner tackled shy of the 15 by Mike Eccles, the rookie cornerback playing for Samari Rolle.
Mike Eccles had to go in and play last week when Andre Dyson got hurt on the one corner. And being a rookie from Wisconsin, a 4th-round draft choice, he had a baptism last week that was played well, but then missed a couple critical tackles, and it's just part of the learning process as a rookie. And here he is now because Samari Rolle's gone to the locker room.
Just as the Raiders have aged, a lot of rookies on this Tennessee roster. Garner underneath to John Ritchie, and he is hit immediately as Keith Bullock all over that with Mike Eccles assisting, and on comes Janikowski for a field goal attempt.
Well, and after letting the Raiders drive down the field, that was a good stand by the Tennessee defense, and it looked like their intensity really picked up. Some good hard hits, some sure tackles.
And of course the 15-yard penalty certainly helped that cause as well.
But at least they finished it off with some good crisp tackling.
28-yard attempt. And he booms it through. First score of the second quarter as the Raiders extend their lead to 24-7. Welcome back. Early in the second quarter, Sebastian Janikowski, another kickoff. This one won't make the end zone. It's slicing, and it's going to go off the field of play, and that's a break for the Titans. They're going to get the ball out at the 40-yard line.
One of the biggest mistakes in football is when a kicker
kickoff
kicks it
out of bounds against the kicking team. Receivers will take the ball 30 yards from the spot of the kick.
Yeah, it's one of the most punitive penalties in all of football when you spot them at the 40, and they didn't have to do a single thing to get there.
Let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Dick, you were talking about how strange it is to see Bill Romanowski in a Raiders uniform. How about Rod Woodson, who spent his first 9 years as a Steeler? But interestingly enough, back in Fort Wayne, Indiana, growing up, the Raiders were his favorite team. He said, the first organized football team I played for were the Raiders. I love Ken Stabler. I really wanted to be drafted by the Raiders. And last year at the Pro Bowl, when he saw Hall of Famer Willie Brown, who's now in the front office for the Raiders, he said, hey, I'm a free agent. Sign me up. Guess Willie passed that message along, huh?
That's right. Back in Fort Wayne as a kid, he said Kenny Stabler poster up on his wall, the snake. McNair into the flat, and it's complete to Kevin Dyson. And Dyson pushed out of bounds after a gain of nearly 5.
Well, speaking of Rod Woodson, how about this in their opener? Watch this. Here comes a fumble. Whoop, right to Rod Woodson, his old team.
Couldn't rehearse that any better, could you?
No, he couldn't. Now, and he's against a formidable foe. They're trying to get by Cordell Stewart. But why is it the great players, just like the interception he got today, it just came right to him. The great players, they're just always in the right place at the right time. It's a cliche, but it's true.
Wind at the back of the best sailors, huh?
Yes, I think that's well put.
McNair underneath, and it's caught into Raider territory on the strike from McNair to Derek Mason. Mason from Michigan State, who has grown, matured in his 6 seasons to become an outstanding target.
Well, this was great pass protection. Steve McNair gets hit late, but he had all sorts of time for Mason to run a pattern of that length. He did get hit at the end, but barely, you know, they just stand him up. But the reality was he had a long time to look downfield.
18 yards on the play. First down at the 37. Handed off to George, and George finds a small opening and gains about 5. Sam Adams, who was out there for anyone to sign as a free agent after Baltimore released him, but this two-time Pro Bowler from Texas A&M, whose dad, of course, was a player in the league for many years as a guard. Adams, number 95, has been quite a pickup.
And the key, Dick, you mentioned those 2 Pro Bowls. They were the last 2 Pro Bowls. So it's not often you see a guy who played in the last 2 Pro Bowls that during August is looking for a job.
Nicknamed Sumo, that tells you all you need to know about run stopping.
He wasn't looking for a meal, he was looking for a job.
George close to a first down at the 27-yard line.
Sam's dad, as Dick mentioned, played for the Patriots and finished up with the Saints. Big Sam Sr. Young Sam told me one time, he said, you know what? He said, my dad, I was always a defensive lineman. My dad used to make me put pass rush moves on him to get to the dining room table. If he didn't like my swim move, if he didn't like the way I dropped my shoulder, Dad wouldn't let me get to the table.
Big Sam says as tough as his dad was, he said, my mom was really the athlete in the family. Marilyn, she was a college basketball player at Prairie View A&M.
They're measuring here to see whether they picked up a first down. I'll tell you one thing. I'd like to know what their dining room furniture was made out of, because that had to be made out of railroad ties to stand up to the 2 Sams going at it to find out who gets to the table.
And then
first.
when you get there, she fly swats the bread right out of your hands. Mom doesn't even let you put it in the soup.
That's a great story.
3rd and inches. And here's where Adams' talent of stuffing the run comes to play as they look for George to try it tackle to tackle. Kinney and Wycheck double tight end. Well, they're saying that there was a false start as John Perella made the move across the line of scrimmage and pointed at the culprit.
Well, when you come over and make contact like Perella did, you better be right, because you've declared yourself. There's no going back once you touch a guy.
Well, they discussed that, Dan. You talked about Adams. What a pickup Perella was.
64 offense. 5 yards, 3rd down.
DiNapoli, the center. Did he move the ball?
Let's watch the football. Look at the football. There's a there was a twitch by the center. There was a twitch by the center. DiNapoli, that was enough to cause some movement on the defensive line. It's a real penalty, and it's very restrictive to be an offensive lineman. But when you're down there, if you sneeze, that much of a body tremor will get you called.
So instead of 3rd and inches, 3rd and 5. Greg Mason in motion. Flanker Dyson drives inside the 30, and I don't think he got enough as Torrey James came up to make the stop. Depends on the spot. It's close, and we may have a measurement.
Boy, I know one thing. Football players hate playing on dirt. So much of this field, because of the A's still playing baseball, is dirt. And the traction's not good. It tears up your arms. The players don't like it a bit.
4th down, less than a yard. McNair and the Titans go for it. Now they have to call a time. They ran out. And we're looking at delay of game. So with 10 minutes and change remaining in the first half, it remains 24-7. Some pretty good seats available on that Tennessee bench. Not a single Titan on the bench. They're up there on this critical 4th and less than a yard. And George cuts back, and I don't think so. He was stuffed by Tony Bryant, the defensive end from Florida State.
Well, you take a risk whenever you pitch the ball on a short yardage play. You only needed about 18 inches. One thing goes wrong on a pitch, and your running back has nowhere to go. Eddie tries to cut back, but the pursuit is there. And Tony Bryant works down the line, keeps his shoulders square, and when Eddie George tries to come back, there he is. Number 94, Tony Bryant, makes the play. Textbook work by a defensive lineman, flowing exactly parallel to the line of scrimmage. And then when he has to make the play, able to drive in to the ball carrier.
And it was Sam Adams who made the penetration early and forced him to cut.
Yeah. I've never been a big fan of a pitch on a 12-inch play.
It's the screen to Garner, and he breaks a tackle out across the 35 to the 40 and a first down. It's 24-7 in Oakland. Let's check out Jim Nantz in New York.
All right, Dick and Dan, and check out right here on the left side of your screen, Mike Vrabel, the linebacker, lines up as a tight end, comes across and catches the pass from Brady to put the Patriots up 14-7 midway through the second quarter now. Let's go back out to you in Oakland.
I tell you what, Jim, Charlie Weiss has just gone into nirvana as an offensive coordinator. He's now calling anything he wants, anytime he wants.
Anybody want to go out for a pass?
Oh, I'm telling you what. Do you know how that generates enthusiasm on a football team? They can't wait to get to the meetings on Monday to find out what we're going to work on, what new are we going to put in this week.
Well, speaking of fantasies, we'll talk about our fantasy matchup coming up.
What's yours?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I'd like to return punts.
Oh, my fantasy matchup doesn't necessarily involve football.
Underneath for the tight end, Doug Jolly, and Jolly hit after a gain of about 5 by Keith Bullock. Third down and 5. McNair and the Titans trailing here in Oakland 24-7. Empty backfield for Gannon. He floods from the left and then throws to the right. Incomplete. Randy Jordan trying to catch the ball, stay in bounds. He was right at the yardstick as well, and the Raiders will have to kick it away. Gannon with the evil eye to his receiver as he comes off the field.
Well, if I know Rich, being the perfectionist that he is, he probably wishes he'd have thrown it just a little closer so that Jordan wouldn't have had to be doing the ballet on the sideline. I'm sure Gannon's thinking I could have done that better.
Here's the Pro Bowl kicker for the AFC a year ago. Shane Leckler. He goes down, but no flag. His ball bounces out of bounds, and now a very late flag goes down from Bob McElwee as Leckler was run into. I don't think it's the personal foul type, but it'll be enough maybe for a first down as Donald Mitchell ran into him.
What's it look like? About 4.5 yards for a first down? It's going to be real close.
Running into the kicker.
Well, Bob McElwee says without a measurement, it's good enough for the first down.
Wow, I would think they'd have to measure on that.
It does look close enough, but the contact is pretty clear. Donald Mitchell you just can't do it. The punter is in a vulnerable position with his leg up in the air. You have to do anything you can do. You can't, technically you graze his cleats when he's got that foot up in the air, and they'll throw the flag.
So a break for the Raiders, and
like they needed one.
Yeah, and of course Tennessee, their own worst enemy against Cleveland last week. 14 penalties.
And they had about 3 or 4 decline.
That'll sour coaching staff. There's a double reverse, and it winds up with Rice, and he wants to throw a pass. Instead, he pulls it down and runs it, and gains about 8 yards.
A double reverse and a block thrown by Rich Gannon for good measure set up Jerry Rice trying to throw that ball.
Charlie Garner, the running back, had gone downfield.
All right, to fake the Wheatley. All right, there's the handoff to Brown, to Rice. Here comes the block from Gannon.
Oh, that was a good block.
That was an outstanding block by Gannon, and then Jerry very smartly pulls it down and takes off. Watch Rich Gannon here. There's Tim Brown, and he comes right back and picks off Peter Sermon.
7 yards for Jerry Rice.
Here they go again.
This time the handoff inside to Wheatley, and he plows to the 39 in the first down. Carlos Hall, the 7th-round draft pick from Arkansas, playing for Javon Curse, makes the tackle. Well, Rice with those 7 yards, Dan, now is only 53 yards away from passing the great Walter Payton for most yards from scrimmage in NFL history. Timeout Gannon. The second used by the Oakland Raiders. 6.5 minutes before halftime. And welcome back to Oakland, California. The Raiders trying to start this season 3-0. The Tennessee Titans looking for a victory that would even their early marks at 2-2. You see Tennessee with more opportunity because the Raiders have scored twice on kick return. That pass overthrown and almost to an interception. Tim Brown was open underneath and Gannon misfired.
A rare misfire. When Tim Brown is that wide open on a post pattern, one of the most accurate guys in this league is Rich Gannon, and you just don't see that very often at all. Look at it. He's got a perfect lane down the middle and just leads and actually overthrows Tim Brown. That just, these two old guys, that just doesn't happen.
And Gannon will turn 37 during the season. Brown is 36. And Keith Bullock in the midst of that one almost comes up with the carom.
Well, Tim Brown again, the intended receiver. Right, working the middle of the field again. He's going to settle in, come right in behind Roland Williams. The ball a little behind him, but geez, Timmy Brown catches that ball. That's very uncharacteristic here. We've seen back-to-back miscues on the Raider passing game.
He's only 2 catches away from tying Andre Reed. He has 1 today, so 2 will pass Andre Reed. Draw play and a fumble. It was Terry Kirby, and it appeared that Donald Mitchell down in the infield dirt to scrape it in for a Titan recovery.
And on the last 3 plays, the Raiders played like a team that had a big lead. Their focus is kind of waning.
Back under the beautiful blue here in Oakland, California, and the blue of the Titans falling on that loose football. The fumble by Kirby forced by Keith Bullock. Donald Mitchell recovered. They take over at their own 34, trailing 24-7. 6 minutes, 12 seconds left in this first half as McNair drops to throw. Underneath to Kevin Dyson, and Dyson to the 39, a gain of 5.
Well, that fumble, it started as a shovel pass to Terry Kirby. But watch from behind. Terry never really tucks the ball tightly to his body. See how it's kind of space? And then coming from the left, there comes Bullock with the hit. A running back in traffic has got to hold that ball a little tighter to his body. You see Kirby took a stride and the football separated. There can never be separation between the football, your rib cage, and your forearm.
Second down and 5. 2 wide receivers to the left, double tight end, and then George cuts back and drives to the 43-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 2 as we go to B squared.
Well, for the first time in nearly 2 decades, Dick, the Titans missing their fixture on the offensive line, Bruce Matthews, and there's somebody who might miss him more than everybody else, and it might be Eddie George. He said, you know, Bruce was the kind of guy who led by example. He could play every position on the line. He always made the right call at the right time. We're missing that, and we're having to make that adjustment, and that's one of the reasons why the run game might be sputtering a little bit out the gate.
Well, especially against all these complicated defenses, someone like Matthews who knew the game so well. 3rd and short, the fake to George. McNair able to extricate and throw incomplete. Actually had running room for a 1st down to the right side, but elected to go to Wycheck, and Rod Coleman was there with the pressure.
Well, Eddie, that's the 2nd time today we've seen Steve McNair get away from heavy traffic. Remember when Sam Adams had him in the 1st quarter and he was able to get it? He comes out and he's just looking right at Rod Coleman on the unprotected rollout, and that's just smart play getting rid of the football. But I agree with you, Dick. He could have taken off with that.
Hentrick, who is that knuckleball punt of his that's so difficult to field where there's no spin on it, but this one is a wobbler. Philip Buchanan, fair catch inside the 15-yard line. 1st out for the Raiders, and Gannon, little screen off to Garner. Garner with those quick feet dances to the sidelines and out of bounds at the 19 with Randall Godfrey in pursuit.
Yeah, you wouldn't exactly need Mills Lane to referee that one, would you? To Boomer and Dan square away with Dion in the middle of it.
Come on, lay off the quarterbacks.
Nance running for cover.
They play with full faculty now. Come on, they're going to be mental, emotional, physical. It's all in tune, not just physical.
Well set for cover.
Second down. Underneath and a first down catch to Jerry Rice. Rice, who had a 75-yard catch and run in the first quarter that led to the Janikowski field goal.
Well, I'll guarantee you that Bill Callahan, the head coach of the Raiders, got his offensive team on the sidelines after that last series of a couple sputters and then a fumble and said, look, I want some concentration back, and I want it back now. We've got a lead, but we're not going to go flop around out there for the rest of the game.
Up the middle goes Garner, and he stopped shy of a first down at the 32-yard line. That'll bring up second down.
There's Bill Callahan, 46 years old, the first time that he's a head coach at any level, and a very likable guy. A very likable guy, a former offensive line coach, offensive coordinator, called all the running plays last couple of years for John Gruden.
It's interesting, he calls the running plays, and Mark Tresman calls the pass plays for Oakland. Here's the throw, and wide open is Tim Brown, and a first down into Tennessee territory at the 48. Plenty of time, 3:04 left in this half.
Well, you see right off the bat, Andre Dyson is trying to work the underneath against Brown, but he gets spun the other direction. So then the only chance is for a safety to come over, and Tim Brown, you know he's going to find the hole back there. And you also know Gannon's going to find it.
143 straight games that Brown's caught 2 passes. And he pulls in another one, although for short gain as Mike Eccles made the tackle. That's quite remarkable. 143 in a row that Brown has caught at least 2 passes. And now he's tied with Andre Reed, the former Buffalo Bills outstanding receiver, for number 3 all-time in the NFL. All of them well behind Jerry Rice.
400, what I'm doing some quick math. What is that? 428 receptions behind Jerry. And they're only a whole career behind Jerry Rice.
And he's not giving it up, Rice. Quick pass is complete. And this one is to Tim Brown again. And just a long handoff.
427.
Lance Shoulders makes the tackle. And that takes us to the 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes left in the opening half. The Raiders driving to extend a 24-7 lead. Raiders with a 24-7 lead, and those 2 punt returns for touchdowns in the opening quarter, the big difference in this one.
Yeah, really. And ever since then, Tennessee's been playing them, you know, fairly level, but that's an awfully big hole. And now I think the Raiders have a chance to put it away if they get a score before the end of the first half.
Touchdown here, leading 24-7.
And I would think that would rattle Tennessee to the point where it's hard for them to do much in the second half.
Gannon throwing a lot of passes like this underneath, and it's Garner. He uses Garner, he uses Brown, he uses Rice, try to get him to the ball quickly. Just a long handoff often, and then hope that with the speed clearing out deep that you can run free.
Well, you look at offensive talent, Dick, and you look at a lot of the teams around this league. You know, it's hard to find a team that's got a whole lot more pizzazz going for them offensively than the Raiders do. You know, what's the first team that comes to mind? The Rams, and they're 0-4.
That's right. Second and short. Garner breaks a tackle, cuts back, and finally tackled at the 10-yard line as Peter Bullock, trailing the play, gets him down.
And I mentioned the Rams, and that's Charlie Garner doing his Marshall Faulk impersonation. A lot of similarities out in the open field. Never even thinks about going to the sidelines. Gets a good lead block out there by Terry Kirby. And this is an offensive team that's just got it all going on.
Garner has been a productive back. He led the Raiders last year after he came over from San Francisco, where he led the 49ers with over 1,100 yards rushing 2 years ago. Raiders spend their final timeout of the half. First and goal from the 10.
I'm not lobbying for a job. I like it here.
Gannon fires, complete, touchdown, Jerry Rice. That's almost unfair. Jerry Rice, with all his savvy, working against the rookie from Wisconsin, Mike Eccles. Welcome to the league, Michael.
And it happens right in front of the black hole down there in front of the Raiders faithful. What a perfectly thrown ball by Rich Gannon, and it comes at a point right at the corner where the timing is such that Eccles never does get a chance to turn around. By the time he locates the ball, it's going over his shoulder right into Jerry Rice's hands.
197 touchdowns for Rice. Janikowski with the extra point, and with less than a minute remaining in the half, it's 31-7. 86 yards on that drive for the Raiders in 9 plays, and Rice with a 10-yard touchdown reception.
And Dick, I know I love the history of the game and the guys who played this game before, but how nice a moment was this after Jerry Rice's touchdown. Who does he hug? That's Fred Biletnikoff, the Hall of Fame Raider receiver who is the wide receiver coach. And there's Fred and Jerry, and just greatness complimenting greatness.
Old number 25. He caught nearly 600 passes on his way to the Hall of Fame.
Had those blonde locks flowing out the back of that helmet, didn't he?
Janikowski will have to be massaging that left leg of his. He's had plenty of chances to kick off. John Simon. And he can't get back to the 20-yard line. Tackled at the 19. 53 seconds. You're deep in your own end. You're down 31-7, and Steve McNair and the Titans dare not put themselves in a position where they're picked off on a dangerous or careless pass.
They got to try something, though. What the heck? You're getting your brains beat out 31-7. There's no time to take a knee.
McNair scrambling. And down at the 25, a gain of 6. That's just about his career average rushing the football, about 6 yards, and the many yards over 2,500 rushing. Complete to Dyson, out of bounds to stop the clock at the 33.
Dick, you and I have been to a few rodeos here in the start of a few NFL seasons in our years covering this game. Can you remember a year quite like the first 4 weeks of this season, as far as some of the drama, some of the overtime, some of the remarkable plays and weird things that we've seen happen?
The parity, the overtimes. You get the Rams, who are the preseason favorites to win the Super Bowl. They're 0-4.
Yeah, that's another great storyline. It just seems like we're awash in that this year.
McNair goes deep this time, and wide open is Drew Bennett, and he can't handle the ball. It was a little low, and he was in a hurry to go for a touchdown. Had he caught it, he would have scored.
Well, working up against the zone, and take a look at the hole. The safety way late coming over and way underneath. Bennett just not able to stop his momentum, backpedaling towards the end zone.
I wonder if Dorsett, it almost looked as if the ball changed direction. Maybe he deflected it just enough.
Maybe he did.
Second down, 16 seconds. And down is in the vocabulary of Steve McNair as he's down in the grasp of Bill Romanowski. Romo strikes.
I think Tennessee's just going to let her go.
That's at the end of the half.
Advantage defense. You don't have to play the run. Just rush the quarterback. And a pretty flawless half here by the Oakland Raiders.
Philip Buchanan in his debut as the starter at cornerback. Out of Miami, he left after his junior year, the national champions. That big kickoff return. End of the half. Let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, Dick, with the Raiders dominating pretty much from out the gate, the easiest thing for the players to do, rest on their laurels. Bill Callahan, how do you make sure your players don't get lazy in the second half?
Well, we've got another 30 minutes of grinding, and we want to come out and be as physical and be as emotional as we started the first half.
Coach, thank you.
Well, a year ago, many thought the Raiders might go on to the Super Bowl, and that, of course, that play in the snow in New England turned that hope around. And they start this season, I think this is a better football team.
I think they are too, Dick. What a seamless transition it has been with John Gruden's departure, because Bill Callahan just didn't change anything. Everything has remained the same, the practice schedule. And if you look at the first half numbers, you know, you look at it and you say, how can the score be this far apart? But the reality is those back-to-back punt returns. It's neither one of them running the ball without much happening, but you know, with back-to-back punt returns that got the Raiders off to a start that Tennessee has just not been able to overcome.
If you're just joining us in the first 5 minutes, the Raiders had a 21-0 lead and had only one offensive play from scrimmage. Edney's kick taken by Terry Kirby, who has a kickoff return for a touchdown this year, and a punt return today for a touchdown. Bonnie?
Well, it would have been very easy for Jeff Fisher to put pressure on his team, say this is a must-win situation, but instead he went in the other direction. He said, we got in a hole early because of breakdowns on special teams. I just told them to go out there and have fun. As for an injury update on cornerback Samari Rowe, well, there's really not much of an update. They're still working on him in the locker room, that right hamstring. He's not expected to come out for the start of the half, but if we hear anything, of course, we'll keep you posted, Dick.
All right, thanks, Bonnie.
Well, I can tell you this, Bonnie. Coaches always talk about going out and having fun. There's not a whole lot of fun involved when you're getting shellacked the way Tennessee is. That's easier said than done.
Garner side wheels it to Jerry Rice, and they're going to say no catch. He must have had his foot on the sidelines.
Jerry's over there going, don't you know who I am? Look, this is number 80 here.
The infield dirt cost him. He slid just a little bit and touched the sideline.
What the heck?
Now they're going to say a catch. So Rice does win that one, too. He does get the catch.
Yeah.
And you can add that to his total and draws him ever closer to Walter Payton.
Yep, they're saying his foot hit in and then slid to the sideline.
Oh, a gain of 5 more. He's 28 yards away from Payton. Hand off inside to Garner, and nothing there. Keith Bullock and Kevin Carter there to make the hit.
Well, Dick mentioned how the Raiders just got off to this unbelievable start, but that's getting it done. First, that was 17-yarder was a touchdown pass to Charlie Garner, then a field goal, then a fumble, then another touchdown, and that didn't include the punt returns. That's a awfully productive first half for an offensive football team. The punt team, unfortunately, didn't get much work at all.
Third down along 3. And there's the throw, sidearm, complete to Rice, and Rice, that almost is going to get him the new lead for all-time yards in scrimmage. He's out to the 49-yard line, 19 more yards. He has 119 yards on 5 catches today.
At first glance, this looks like a one-hander, and it is. A left-handed stab by the great Jerry Rice.
Virtuoso.
Whoop. There it is. Wow. How tough is that for Sermon to try to defend? Peter Sermon, the linebacker, is really right on Jerry's tail, but the pass perfectly led, and you know, it's unless someone's coming from the other direction, you can't defend it.
Garner around the left side and pushed out right at the yardsticks. About 10 more yards as Lance Shoulders made the tackle. Jerry Rice is 9 yards behind Payton.
39 years old and just still plays the game at this level. And how much fun was that talking yesterday to Eddie George about his trying to go work out with Jerry Rice
at the Peninsula Hill here, where Rice takes him 15-16 minutes to run up this very difficult hill. So George comes out, wants to be even in better shape. I said, how close did you stay with Jerry? He said, well, after 5 minutes I lost him. He was gone.
He said, oh, the only thing I know, he was at the top waiting for me when I got there, and he had the appearance of a man who'd been there for a while.
and we said, what did he say to George when George arrived? He said, nice going.
Yeah. A remarkable athlete who has a dedication to his craft, and I'm talking of Jerry Rice, and a man whose pride and whose knowledge of where he stands in the history of this game drives him. He is a driven man in the most positive of ways.
And Gannon said that his standard of excellence is so contagious for the rest of us. He and Tim Brown. They're playing for history. Here's that reverse to Brown. And trailing the play was the rookie Albert Haynesworth from Tennessee, the 6'6", 320-pound first-round draft pick, and he showed he can run.
Well, Rich Gannon was going to throw a block. He had to make a decision. Am I going to go for the chest or am I going for the shoelaces? He went for the shoelaces. Rich says, hey, man, we got a big lead here. There's no way I'm going to go up high and get stroked on this one. I'm going to go down there and nibble on his ankles a little bit. Barely slowed Albert down.
Jeff Fisher feels that Haynesworth has some rare skills that play in the middle, only 21 years of age. Gannon all day to find receiver. Is there a flag? Close. No, a flag flies as Randall Godfrey on the back of Roland Williams, the tight end.
The crowd booing because it did look like Godfrey was there early. It's going to happen right in the middle of your screen. That's Godfrey right over here. He's taking a look for Williams coming in. Let's watch it. Oh, he did hit him before the football got there. Yep, he did hit him before the ball got there, but no flag as the refs show mercy.
That snaps a string of 10 straight Gannon completions. A mercy no call. Randy Jordan in the backfield behind Gannon. Another sidearm flip. It's Jordan across the 40 and down inside to the 38. Robert Smith, the defensive tackle, number 98, trailing the play.
Doesn't a guy named Robert, a defensive lineman, they just don't seem to go hand in hand, do they?
That's a good point.
Tennessee's got a bunch of these guys. They've got a safety from Stanford named Tank.
That bothers you, doesn't it?
Well, nobody from Stanford is named Tank.
Like think tank, they've got those at Stanford.
That's nice segue.
Kick by Leckler into the end zone, and it'll be a first down for the Tennessee Titans at the 20-yard line with the Raiders well in command. The Titans get the ball for the first time here in the second half, down 31-7 as Steve McNair trying to have some fun, as advised by Coach Jeff Fisher. And they come out in the shotgun. And McNair throws long. Incomplete, and flag goes down. Interference will be called on Bill Romanowski, trying to shag John Simon down the sidelines.
Well, that's asking Romo to run a long way. That's a long way for a linebacker to run down a sideline. I don't care if it is with a running back.
Defensive pass interference, number 53, using the arm bar. First down.
The arm bar is when Romanowski at the end of this extends his right arm to keep Simon from coming back in. It's not there, but it's going to be right there. That's what's going to draw the flag. Right there. Keeping him from bringing his left arm up. Pretty good job of Romo with his legs, though. He ran a long way and stayed with him.
39-yard penalty, the longest play of the day for Tennessee. And Romanowski right there, along with John Perella, to knock down Frank Wycheck after the catch. And we have an update. So let's go to Jim Nantz in New York.
Well, it's all about LaDainian Tomlinson, Dick. Look at this. Inside they go. Tomlinson breaks it free. 58-yard scamper for the go-ahead touchdown. Tomlinson has 161 yards on only 11 carries. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Jim. And they've got to be on their toes and feet cheering. And San Diego off to a 3-0 start. The Chargers, and of course 3 wins against teams that did not have much of a record themselves, but now the Super Bowl champions down there in San Diego.
And Dick, you live in San Diego. What was the reaction when they hired Marty Schottenheimer?
I
was
think
there some moaning about a retread?
Yeah, it was just, well, nobody stood up and said, boy, that's great. He said, well, we got a new head coach in San Diego. Not a lot of excitement attached, but Marty really has them disciplined. He's so well organized. Almost intercepted, and guess who? Rod Woodson right there, jumping the pattern. He is so smart. Derek Mason.
Initially looked like it either hit Woodson right on the hands or right in the chest. There's Woodson right in the middle of the picture. See, it gets deflected. Yeah, and changed the course of the ball. Actually, that would have been almost impossible for Woodson to come up with that thing. Derek Mason just altered the ball enough that it took it out of Woodson's grasp.
On 2nd and 10, McNair under pressure, steps away, throws incomplete, intercepted this time.
I don't believe it.
Can you believe Rod Woodson is going to score another touchdown? And this will make his NFL record 11 touchdowns by interception. Rod Woodson.
And up into the black hole he goes. And again, you know, Dick, I'm back to the old, why are some players in the right place at the right time? It's a deflected ball. Now McNair does a great job. He throws it to Wycheck, but it bounces. But
there it is again.
Is just standing there, and the ball comes right to him like some kind of a dust magnet. Only it's a football magnet. It's just truly remarkable how great players, things like that happen to them. You're back to the old, the wind is behind the best sailor. Well, the wind is behind Rod Woodson today.
Janikowski with the extra point. Not only has Woodson extended his NFL record, 11 interception returns for a touchdown, he now has returned for more yards than anyone in history. Raiders' 3rd return for touchdown, 2 punts and now an interception. Janikowski to Justin McCarons. He'll take the knee and first down at the 20-yard line. Rod Woodson has passed the former Giant great Emlen Tunnell, who held the record for most interception yards returned, 1,282. And Woodson shatters it now. He's at 1,339, 82 yards on this return.
The ball comes off the hands of Frank Wycheck, but it wasn't a very well thrown ball by Steve McNair. Steve McNair knows he threw the ball too high. It's, you know, it just is one of those days where it's all disintegrating. No matter what you try, it doesn't seem to work. And there's so much football left to be played here, another 25 minutes. And to be this far behind is a backbreaker.
McNair out of the backfield, complete to John Simon. Good twisting move. And Simon, who made this Tennessee team with his excellent preseason, a flag is down. Rookie from Louisiana Tech, undrafted, but made some big plays in the preseason. Caught the eye of Jeff Fisher.
5-yard face mask foul, 75 defense. Enforced from the end of the play, first down.
Well, Steve McNair told us yesterday that Simon has been so impressive that he even has his own package now. That they've even got, you know, when you say you've got your own package, they mean that you've got some plays that are designed specifically to get you the football. And that's quite a compliment for an undrafted rookie.
And when they talk about it, they call the package Simon Says.
Yeah, well, I wish, never mind.
First down, McNair to Wycheck. And Wycheck tripped up after a 9-yard pickup by Eric Barton. You're too young to even remember playing Simon Says. That was for, you know, way back. You have to go way back to play Simon Says.
Boy, I wish I was as young as you seem to think I am. I'll take it, though. I am at an age where I'll accept any compliment concerning age.
And that is Simon. And he speaks out for 4 and a first down at the 48-yard line.
I have trouble with Chris Cooper here of the Raiders, number 75, because I can't see a black jersey number 75 falling on a ball carrier without thinking of Howie Long.
That's his nickname, Little Howie.
Well, wow, that's 75 and a defensive lineman. It's funny. Instincts take over. I see that, and I think Howard.
He's from Nebraska, Omaha. Cooper is a 6th-round pick a couple of years ago, last year, actually. They like him, especially as a pass rusher. Looked to be offside, flag down. McNair goes through with the play, has a man wide open, and it's complete to Derek Mason. And Mason skips out of bounds at the 16-yard line as Terrence Shaw beaten on the play.
Well, this will be offside against the Raiders, so they'll decline it.
93 defense, penalty is declined, first down.
And kudos to the Tennessee Titans for not just rolling over and saying we quit. They're still giving it a good effort out of the slot. Mason puts a good double shoulder move back to the inside and really kind of spins Terrence Shaw around. But this is not easy to do, to be down by this much. That second, that foot hit the sideline there, but he'd already gotten one in.
Fourth catch for Mason and 67 yards to lead Tennessee. East fans don't want their defense to give up anymore. McNair. And he skips it incomplete. Good coverage on Derek Mason. As Terrence Shaw, an extra defensive back, well, he'll also play the corner, relieving rookie Philip Buchanan.
You know, the bye came at a bad time for the Raiders. They opened up with 2 wins, very impressive wins, scoring over 30 points both times. And Bill Callahan, you know, he's right up front. He said, I'd much prefer to have that bye about the 8th week of the season, but it gave them time to work more defensively because they've got 9 new starters on this defensive team, and that extra week kind of helped assimilate all those guys in there.
Underneath, McNair finds Kevin Dyson, and Dyson tackled at the 8-yard line, just shy a yard of a first down.
And you take a look at the Raiders schedule. Of course, you looked at going 2 road games. You think at Buffalo, at St. Louis. Well, who knows what you're going to find at St. Louis now. Of course, those records were coming into today.
Buffalo 2-2 with their overtime win.
The Rams now 0-4.
Third down. A short 2. The quick pass is complete to Wycheck for the first down. It'll be first and goal from the 4-yard line. Derek Gibson, one of those new starters in the secondary for the Raiders from Florida State in his second year.
He had a broken hand last year that really limited him, and this is his first year starting. But as a safety starting in this league, can you imagine how nice it is to look over at your other safety and it's Rod Woodson?
Simon. And young John Simon has the touchdown, his first rushing touchdown in the National Football League. The kid from Baton Rouge has the score.
Well, he gets a good block out front by Benji Olsen, number 75, who pulls out. And looks like they're going to go for 2 points. There's Olsen, number 75. He comes back and steals to the inside.
80 yards and 8 plays for the Titans. Plus the big interference penalty. So they come out with Simon in the backfield along with McNair. McNair incomplete. Deflected off the hands of Derek Mason. So it remains 38-13. Timeout with 7:08 left, third quarter. And welcome back. The Raiders go into the game today with the NFL's #1 offense, also in the top 5 in best defense, and the second best in the league rushing defense. Showing all those attributes in this game today. Terry Kirby. Who is he hit? And for a moment it looked like that ball was going to go flying. He did a good job of hanging on. 7:04 remaining in the third. Here in Oakland, it's a Raiders celebration. Sun-baked day here in Oakland, and the Raiders with the ball. 7:04 left in the third period with a 38-13 lead. They come out 3 wide to the right, empty backfield, and Gannon flips it incomplete, almost deflected into the arms of Peter Sermon. Gannon, only the 7th pass today that's hit the ground, and a penalty against Tennessee.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 91, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Rookie tackle Albert Hainsworth, youngest Titan. They think he's going to be a star.
Well, that's why he's the #1 draft choice. He's got it all. Watch over there on the left-hand side. Oh, you can see right there the helmet of Matt Stinchcomb being bent back. You can push a guy in the chest, but if it rides up to the mask, you got to get it down.
Garner skips out of 1 tackle, heads to the sidelines, and leveled by Lance Shoulders, former 49er. Yeah, they were former teammates, Garner and Shoulders, with the Niners 2 years ago. Well, we have a chance. Congratulations, baseball. Congratulations to the Bay Area teams. San Francisco Giants and Oakland A's on their way to the playoffs.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll pass on congratulations to my hometown team, the St. Louis Cardinals, that fought through some remarkable, some absolutely devastating circumstances this year with the death of Darryl Kyle during the season. For them to go on the run that they went, it was really something.
And up the middle goes Garner, and Garner out to the 38-yard line. A late flag. 2 late flags come in as Godfrey and Shoulders make the tackle. Meanwhile, we're waiting for Jerry Rice to get another chance. He needs 9 yards to pass Walter Payton, be all alone the most productive player offensively in the history of the National Football League. More yards from scrimmage. Well, personal foul against Oakland.
You know, Dick, you look at Jerry Rice's career. I remember in 1997 when Jerry injured his knee, and a lot of people thought that his career might be over, and then he came back. Remember when he tried to come back too soon, and then his kneecap fractured?
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 63 offense, 15-yard penalty. It will be 1st and 10.
That's Barrett Robbins again.
Barrett must have seen the Oscar De La Hoya fight. Let's see. There's number 63 right in the middle. Oh, and that's called cleaning off the pile. That's where you find a guy that is standing around looking at the play already over, and you pick him off. And again, the league was very explicit in talking to the players prior to the start of the season, saying we will not tolerate that. Barrett Robbins is he might be in for a rough week with the league.
Terry Kirby, the lone setback, as Gannon rolls and throws. And it's complete to Terry Kirby for short yardage out to the 26. Peter Sermon played his college ball at Oregon. That linebacker made the tackle.
I just want to finish up with Rice,
Sure.
Dick, talking about, you know, and then he came back too soon, and he fractured his kneecap, and then there really were concerns that maybe he was going to have a chronic problem with that knee and maybe never be the receiver he was. Because, you know, the 3 years prior to that, he had 112, 122, 108 receptions, and then that 1 year in 97, he only had 7. Think of where he'd be now if it wouldn't have been for that 7 reception year in 97.
Underneath it is complete, and a fumble. And a scramble as Randall Godfrey in there to make the hit on Jerry Porter. And after the 7, then he comes back, does Rice with an 82 catch season.
Pretty good comeback, I'd say.
You bet. Roland Williams, the tight end, and it dislodges, but somehow he's able to get out and scrape it in and save it for the Raiders.
Good bounce.
And a first down.
Check it right.
Rice in motion, and he blocks on the play, and Terry Kirby breaking tackles and has a first down into Tennessee territory. Andre Dyson, he just ran right over Dyson.
And Dyson lost his helmet in the process. He had to go about 10 yards down the field to pick it up. It takes a pretty good hit to separate a player from his helmet. Look at big Lincoln Kennedy out front. Oh, it's a hit from behind by his own teammate. Randall Godfrey hits Dyson from behind and knocks out his helmet.
Look at Rice here. Picks off big Kevin Carter. Not quite enough for a first down at 2nd and 1. And Gannon spends a timeout. Just under 4 minutes left in the 3rd period. Raiders 38-13. Raiders looking at 2nd down and 1 at midfield.
The Raiders been having their own race to the end zone here tonight.
They sure have. Always. Here's Tim Brown. Another catch. Short catch. Good run. Andre Dyson gets him out of bounds. And
late flag again. Now this was way after the play was over. Thrown by referee Bob McElwee. We've got another
against the
personal
Raiders.
foul.
Roland Williams is the man arguing, the tight end.
These are the old Raiders we're used to. Now we're talking.
Personal foul, number 73 offense, hitting late after the play was over. 15 yards.
Frank Middleton getting in a extra lick.
That's twice on the same drive that an offensive lineman has been called for a late hit. Barrett Robbins just a couple plays ago. Now Frank Middleton. Now those of you who would be critical of the Raiders would say, well, what the heck are they doing playing like that, leading by 25 points?
And your answer is?
It's a good question. What are they doing playing like that, leading by 25 points? Play clean, but hardly the time for personal fouls and late hits.
So they picked up the first down on the Brown catch, then the penalty. So it is a 1st and 10 play. Roland Williams, the tight end, the intended target.
Defended by Andre Dyson. 2nd down.
And look at some of the individual statistics in this game, and of course with Gannon and those tremendous receivers, those all pros on the outside. Look at Gannon, 21 of 28. He'll be happy with 75%, 248 yards, no intercepts, 2 touchdowns. Garner has a touchdown catch and 51 yards rushing. Rice 5 for 119 in a score, and Brown 5 for 49 yards. Gannon. Down he goes on the sack at the 35-yard line. It was Carlos Hall, the rookie from Arkansas, his 4th sack.
Well, he had 3 in the opener, and then it's been a dry spell for Hall. But here, this is just a case where Rich Gannon not going to take a chance with the football. Couldn't find him. I just took off with it. Really gave up the sack. You know, the reality of things here for the Raiders is they just have so many things going for them. They are quickly becoming, I think, one of the toughest teams in the league to defend. With the weapons they have, and especially with number 12 running.
3rd and 13, and Kirby tried to run before he tucked it away. And the other part of that is, I know it's your eyebrows went up when Tim Brown and the others said, man, what a playbook. This Bill Callahan has got, he keeps throwing in more plays. Well, offensively.
You'd think the offensive line coach takes over and you'd think things are going to be simplified. Well, don't be fooled, folks. Everyone tells you that Bill Callahan has a much more extensive playbook than did his predecessor, John Gruden. And that, well, why not? He's got a veteran team, Dick, that can handle it.
Leckler's punt is high to John Simon, and Simon at the 30, 35, and a good return to the 40-yard line, tackled by Travion Smith. Simon in the backfield with McNair at the 40. And it's down the middle to Drew Bennett, and Bennett twists away inside the 40 of the Raiders. Bonnie?
All right, well, Charles Woodson isn't playing today, so he came and visited with me, but first game missed since high school. I'd imagine with a blowout like this is one of those games you really like to get in there and take some chances.
Oh, definitely. My guys seem like they're having a good time out there. You know, we ran up the score on them early. To get a chance to go out there and relax and just have fun, I would love to be a part of it.
How's the shoulder feeling? When do you expect to be back?
You know, they say 6 weeks, but hopefully I'll be back sooner than that. It's feeling better every day, more rotation in it. But right now, I'm just a spectator.
Phillip Buchanan, a huge day for him. He doesn't have any fear. Is it just that Miami thing?
It might be. You know what I'm saying? They got a good couple guys coming out of Miami, but he's definitely a great athlete coming out of college, and we knew he can go in there and do the job.
Charles, thanks for the time.
Hey, Bonnie, I asked him what happened in the Notre Dame game.
Phillip Buchanan filling in admirably today. McNair underneath to Simon, and look at him scoop inside the 10 all the way to the 7-yard line. After Drew Bennett picked off another pass, it's Simon on the little flare, and 1st and goal for Tennessee. Simon has 1 rushing touchdown. Oh, is he hammered by John Perella and company. Sam Adams and Perella, the 2 tackles to say hello.
Wow. Take a look at this. The forward momentum ceases abruptly. John Perella has always been just a sensational run stopper. His years in San Diego, and that's where you're vulnerable. When you're stood up like that, you got a leg hanging out, and that's where you'll see a guy like Simon get hurt when he's kind of suspended in air like that with appendages dangling everywhere.
He led the defensive line to the Chargers in tackles the last 2 years.
Something flew out onto the field over there. I think a Nerf ball or something came out of the stands.
2nd and goal from the 7. Into the end zone, incomplete to Drew Bennett. Bennett at 6'5", so he's a terrific target for that fade pattern. Philip Buchanan only 5'10", but good coverage again by the rookie.
Well, you get the feeling when you watch Philip Buchanan play that, yeah, certainly he knows what he's doing. When you come out of a program like Miami playing cornerback, it's not just the schedule you play, it's the people you practice against every day. I mean, these guys, that's as close to being in an NFL camp as you can be. And he certainly shows that he has that polish already.
Eddie George flanked out to the left, then they throw underneath. Touchdown to Drew Bennett, and he earned it. He's made some good catches today. Bennett with only 3 receptions all season coming in, and today has twice that amount, 6.
Well, kudos to Tennessee. They're not quitting. And that was a tremendous throw by Steve McNair. That was right into traffic. He got it right where he had to. And Tennessee can at least say we're way behind on this thing, but you know what? We did not fold our tent. We didn't roll over and play dead for anybody.
They go for 2. Empty backfield. Quarterback draw maybe? Nope. The quick throw, and he fires it into Wycheck. Incomplete. It looked as if he had it, but Bill Romanowski there to defend.
Well, he did have it. It was a good throw, I think, by McNair, and Wycheck, I think, dropped it. Right in there, and yep, Frank just not able to hold on to it.
Romanowski had his hands on it. So they go 60 yards in 6 plays. Again, the 2-point conversion fails, and the score 38-19. In the words of Bill Callahan when he was talking about his line, he wants girthy. He looked at you, he said, we like girthy guys on offense.
We were talking specifically about Matt Stinchcomb, his left tackle who moved in to left guard, who's 6'6", 310. And that's not girthy enough. It's 6'6", 310. It's a little rangy, and Bill would let you know he wants his guards to be a little more solidified through the thorax.
Girthy it is. The onside kick, and it go far enough. Flag is down. It had to go to the 45, and it was covered by Rocky Boyman, the rookie from Notre Dame, shy of the 45-yard line.
Offside on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, 3 kick.
Let's see if we can look at this from our camera high atop the stadium. It's one of these 2 guys right here, I think. Let's.
What? I don't see
bad
it.
Call. Bad call. I don't think he's offsides.
And usually when it's close, they don't call it.
Ooh, baby, that did not appear to be offsides. Not from that look.
And that would have been the Titans' ball at the 43-yard line. So they used the onside kick, Fisher, early, and it should have worked. Boyman had it. So now the kickoff from the 25. Alan Lowry, who is the special teams coach for the Titans, he certainly didn't see it the way the officials did. So the element of surprise, they didn't wait till the 4th quarter. They tried it here in the final minute of the 3rd. And Nedney this time drives it to the veteran Terry Kirby. Flag down as Kirby had run out of bounds at the 17-yard line. And the block in the back against the Raiders.
By the way, for those of you who are wondering if there was going to be a challenge or something, you can't challenge an offsides call.
That's in the back, above the waist, number 88 of the receiving team during the return. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, I'm going to venture a guess that Bill Callahan is not happy with the number of penalties that the Raiders are incurring here in the second half. Couple personal fouls. Now they're back on their own 8-yard line because of a penalty. Yeah, it's nice to be winning. You don't want to finish sloppy.
8 penalties, 108 yards now. Gannon on top. Incomplete. Good coverage by Mike Eccles on Tim Brown. With 19 seconds left in the third.
Mike Eccles on the coverage. Second down.
Yeah, the Raiders for years would lead the league in penalties, and then under Gruden they really improved in that regard. Today is not Bill Callahan is not one to say, hey, the unsportsmanlike, the personal foul, and you just can't. Those are mental errors, not physical errors.
The late hits are just that's just too easy to correct. You just shouldn't do that.
Tennessee tried to call time but couldn't get it, and then the pass to Tyrone Wheatley, and Wheatley all the way out across the 30 to the 35-yard line, and a flag down.
How close did that pass from Rich Gannon come to Keith Bullock, the linebacker over there?
Offensive pass interference number 80. Half the distance to the goal line. Repeat the down. Second down.
Rice made a block before as the pass was thrown, so that's interference.
Boy, what a risky pass by Rich Gannon. You got to have a lot of confidence to make that pass to begin with.
No, this is a clip, actually.
Well, it's actually, there had to be. Here's the pass from Gannon right away. Watch how close this comes to Bullock, who's right there, who's actually in front of him. Yeah, we saw Jerry Rice coming back and blocking below the waist. But offensive pass interference has to come when the ball's in the air. So there must have been a hit prior.
And that is the end of the third quarter with a score. The Raiders 38, the Titans 19. Open the fourth quarter here at the Coliseum in Oakland with the Raiders on their own 4-yard line. Second down and about 14. Gannon with the pump and the throw to the sidelines, complete to the tight end Jolly. Came into the game with 1 catch, but being used today by Gannon. And Andre Dyson with the stop short of the first down. Jolly from St. George, Utah. As you look into the concession stand, the Raider memorabilia. Well, they say that the Raiders sell as much merchandise as any NFL team.
I think they're number 1. I think they sell more than any team in the NFL. I would think that Tim Brown is the leading seller here. It's apparent when they introduce the teams that as big an ovation as Jerry Rice gets when he comes out, I'd say that Tim Brown's reception is probably 50% louder.
False start, number 72, offense.
Well, here we go again with the Raiders, another penalty.
117 yards on 10 whistles today.
Lincoln Kennedy, the right tackle, whose distinction is that I believe he weighs more than both Lincoln and Kennedy put together.
I think you're exactly right. Boy, your research is so thorough.
I know, I've been working on that for quite some time. A good football player and an even better guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy.
Oh, fun, fun, fun.
Gannon on third down. Scrambles, and down he goes at the 5-yard line, and that'll be recorded as a sack as Randall Godfrey back into the Tennessee Titan defense after missing a couple games with a sprained ankle makes the stop.
Well, this drive by Tennessee coming up offensively may determine how much longer Rich Gannon plays in this football game. Do we see Tuiasosopo later?
I think this would be the ideal time.
Yeah, you would.
Maybe even Neil O'Donnell gets him duty for the Titans.
It's possible.
Big bounce for Shane Lechler. That'll look good in his average all the way to the 38-yard line. A 58-yard punt, no return. Timeout. 13:42 left in the fourth quarter. Back in Oakland, where the Raiders try to remain one of the unbeaten teams here this young NFL season. Titans have the ball at the 38-yard line. Simon goes in motion. McNair still the quarterback. incomplete. John Simon tackled by Romanowski, and Simon close to another first down, and slow getting up. Almost like a cramp.
John Simon shaking up on the play for Tennessee.
Been productive today. Eddie George with the Titans falling behind early 21-0 with only 6 minutes gone in the game. George used sparingly in this second half.
I think your call with the cramp is right on, Dick. That's immediately going to the stretch.
And they'll measure for the first down. Well, that Simon, it's a wonder why that no one drafted him at 5'11", 202. He was a wide receiver, caught a pass in every game of his career at Louisiana Tech, 46 straight games. Wasn't as if he wasn't productive. Just short of the first down, 2nd and inches. Into the eyes of veteran Bill Romanowski. They come with a blitz. The throw is complete to Kevin Dyson, and Dyson bumped out of bounds by Philip Buchanan, but it's a first down at the Raider 39.
Good job by the front wall of Tennessee picking up the Raider blitz, and that means it's man coverage all the way with Buchanan. Buchanan, though, looking into the backfield. He's playing into the backfield the whole way. Here's the blitz pickup right there. Eddie George stands right in and allows Steve McNair to make this throw. It's an awfully big football field when you're locked up one-on-one, when you know you got no help underneath because of the blitz.
That was the 7th catch for Dyson. You could see that on the left side of the line, false start.
Brad Hopkins looked like he jumped up out of his stance.
False start, 72, offense, 5 yards, first down.
See the other scores. Top right of your screen. San Diego's still leading New England in a battle of unbeatens down south. The Giants have opened well, now they correct that score. Arizona ahead by 2 touchdowns.
I believe Arizona ran an interception back in for a score, picked off Collins.
1st and 15. McNair is going to be a weary soul at the end of this one. Another flag down. And the throw complete to Frank Wycheck, the tight end, tackled by Terrence Shaw. And more airtime for Bob McElwee.
Illegal formation, number 71 offense is not up on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, the NFL told everybody they were going to enforce that, and they are. Well, there's what Steve McNair has done today. Other than the 2 interceptions, an awfully productive day from a percentage standpoint. But again, rushing yards are tough to come by for Eddie George.
Drew Bennett chipping in with some half-dozen catches. There's a long throw for Bennett. And he almost split the 2 defenders and made a circus catch between Buchanan and Anthony Dorsett.
Yeah, that was almost one of those situations where the ball was underthrown to the point where the receiver is the one who's able to make a break and come back and get it. That ball was about 2 or 3 yards underthrown, and right off the bat, Bennett is the one who tries to come back to it. Dorsett can't. He keeps going.
He's an Ed McCaffrey size
he sure
receiver, isn't he?
And he almost came up with that catch, and that would have been something special.
On 2nd and 20. McNair. And completed at the 33. No one touched him down. So it's Justin McCarron's taking off for a touchdown.
Oh, Bill Callahan will absolutely jump out of his skin. He will go nuts. So will Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator. I thought you were going to touch it. No, I thought you were going to touch it. First of all, it's a wonderful job by McNair of staying alive. Takes off, buys some more time on the run. Watch the accuracy of this pass he throws, falling backwards. And then, inexplicably, Napoleon Harris, the rookie linebacker, looks like a rookie. He thinks it's college football. He thinks he's down on the ground, and he has to stay there. Now, they're probably going to challenge, and we only got the one quick look at it as to whether or not the ball hit the ground. But I'll guarantee you that's what went through the mind of Napoleon Harris. He's still playing college football. The receiver's on the ground, and he goes, well, the play is over. This is the NFL, Napoleon.
Oakland is challenging the ruling on the field that it is a good reception.
Okay. Well, let's take a peek at it here. They'll bring that back. I think they'll bring that back.
Well, I'm not so sure this time, Dan. Didn't he have his arm underneath it?
The ball, here, my understanding is this. The ball can touch the ground only if it is completely in your control. If they think in any way.
Yeah, I think he's got his elbow under.
Well, let's look at it one more time. If they think in any way that the ground aided you in making the catch. Now that one right there, the first replay was the one where we could specifically see. Let's look at this one and see if the ball, does the ground aid him in making this catch?
His right hand's underneath.
Well, just watch it. Let's see. Does the ground help him? That's a toughie. And again, we must go back to the beginning. And it was ruled a catch on the field.
After reviewing the play, it is a good catch.
Yep.
Touchdown. Oakland is charged with a team timeout.
49-yard touchdown for Justin McCarons, who played his college ball at Northern Illinois. And another two-point conversion. They've had some practice, the Titans, and they're 0 for 3. Second timeout spent by the Raiders.
And they're going to try a two-point conversion again. Isn't this their third one? They've missed at least two. I know they've missed.
It was 38-7 and 30. This is the third.
Right.
Yep. 0 for 2. They come out with Eddie George in the backfield. Down in the black hole end of the Coliseum. George can't get the corner. Rod Woodson. He was all over that play. So 0 for 3 on the two-point conversions. The Titans are scoring in sixes. 38-25. Yeah, Jerry Rice using that Tagliabue signature as a chiropractic device. As Terry Kirby with a kickoff and tackled at the 28-yard line. Well, for Steve McNair, this is a game to remember in terms of his individual passing. 348 yards is the best total in his 8-year career. 348 for McNair.
Dick, going back to that touchdown pass to McCarons again, I think it's really interesting because we pointed out Napoleon Harris. And if we could freeze it when he goes up here and catches the ball, you know, here's McNair's throw. Okay, right there he hits the ground. These two guys are two rookies. That is Napoleon Harris and that's Philip Buchanan, both of whom reverted back to college football thinking the guy was down on the ground.
Jerry Porter able to make that reception, and he has been called the most improved of the Raiders, and it takes 8-9 Titans to stop him. He's a big guy, 6'2" and 220. Wide receiver from West Virginia. 25 yards for him on the play.
Well, the question right now, just think of some of the scenarios here, Dick. If Tennessee would have kicked extra points after those touchdowns, we'd have a 38-28 ball game. Just a touchdown and a field goal. If they would have converted all three of the two-point conversions, we'd have a one-possession game. We'd be 38-31. The question now is, can the Raiders stop making silly mistakes and letting Tennessee back in this game?
Underneath to Rice, and Rice on that play has the 10 yards, and that is a historic catch. That 10 yards pushes him past Walter Payton. No one in the history of the National Football League has gained more yards from scrimmage than number 80, Jerry Rice.
And kind of emblematic of his entire career. Just a little hook right over the middle, gets hit by a couple guys, takes a beating for the catch. And there you see it by 2, Jerry Rice.
All the rest of them are rushers, men who have rushed the ball, caught it out of the backfield. Here's a man primarily all of his yards catching passes, a few on reverses and rushes, but what a great player he is. Charlie Garner is stuffed by Keith Bulluck, and you talked about your memories of Rice. Yeah, how can you ever forget anyone who had the luxury of being able to go to a practice session and watch a team? And yet, throughout his career, I mean, he would always be on the side. If the defense was practicing during the course of, he'd be over on the side and he'd get somebody to throw him balls so that he could work on his routine, work on his pass moves. I mean, he's relentless in his study and his effort.
And it was not for show. It was strictly for Jerry Rice and his mental frame of mind to get that.
And on cue, another catch for Rice, and the record is improved. They have not announced yet to this Coliseum crowd that he has done that. That will be coming, and you'll hear a roar.
Well, as we mentioned before, right down the middle of the field. And Jerry Rice, you know, for all of his, you know, what you think about him, and you think about some of the great receivers, you think about them streaking down the sidelines. You don't think of that with Jerry Rice.
Over the middle.
Between the numbers is where he has made his Hall of Fame career.
7 catches today. Gannon had to change his mind. Tried to hit Tim Brown on the run, incomplete. For Rice today, 7 catches, 144 yards. And a touchdown, his longest reception, 75 yards. But that was a short pass and a long run.
A short pass across the middle, and the rest of it was just yak.
Ball's at the 21-yard line. The Tennessee
Titans. The catch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. YAC, right?
You got
Not YAK.
No. Well, it's Central Michigan would be YAK.
Oh, come on. Oh boy! Oh boy! Now the whole Chippewa Nation is going to be after you. Gannon again, first man covered, so he goes to the tight end, Roland Williams, and Williams lurches forward for a first down, I believe. Godfrey and Eccles made the tackle.
Wonderful pass protection by the Raider offensive line. Sims and Stinchcomb and Robbins and Middleton and LK. They what a pocket they gave Rich Gannon. Take a look at this. All that time to look one direction, and then all the time to come back to Roland Williams, who's just squatted over there. That's credit that entirely to the offensive line.
Both passers over 300 yards today. Gannon now 318. Now the run. Garner. Whoa. He's rejected. Oh, a second time as Keith Bulluck finishes Lance Shoulders' work.
But what about Charlie Garner's effort? He took 2 huge hits and kept on going. And this is a small package, 5'10", 190 pounds. Just look at this. Puts the head down, knocked 5 yards back, gets it again. Man, I love to watch Charlie Garner play football.
And only Marshall, Falk, and Edgerrin James have gained more yards from scrimmage than Garner the last 3 years. Wide open is Jerry Porter, and he has his second touchdown of the season. And is 6'2". He's big enough to leap the wall here at the Coliseum.
Well, you'd think at 6'2", the Titans never put anybody out there. I've always been mystified how that happened. And you know what? I'll guarantee it was not the intended target. Rich Gannon noticed that Tennessee didn't bother to put anybody out on Jerry Porter. Now, how does that happen? That a guy splits out and not a single defender walks out there to cover him?
Janikowski adds the extra point. Rich Gannon's third touchdown pass of the game, and the Raiders back in command. Well, they've marked the ball on the touchdowns, but I'm not sure I think that was the ball that Rice caught for the yardage record.
Yeah, Jerry Porter.
But Porter got the touchdown. Justin McCarron takes a knee on Janikowski's a long kickoff again. It'll be Tennessee at the 20-yard line at the midpoint of the fourth quarter. Raiders on top by 20. From the 20, trailing by 20. McNair runs to the sidelines, and does he gain a yard to deny a sack from Travian Smith? 348 yards for McNair, playing from behind throughout. One of those interceptions returned by Rod Woodson for a touchdown. 82 yards.
Let's take a quick peek at touchdown. It won't take long, folks, because well, we'll do it after this play.
So that was a sack, stepped out of bounds back at the 18. Offside and a flag thrown. May have been delay of game. I don't think he got it off in time, so the second flag won't count.
Delay of the game. Offense.
Play was dead.
5 yards. Second down.
Well, the Tennessee defense here, if you look at them all here and then the one, they're going to make sure that nobody's going to catch a pass over here. Unfortunately, Jerry Porter is over here, and no one decides to go over there. And Rich Gannon alertly just plays a little pitch and catch like you would out in your backyard. Now that is embarrassing to just let someone stand over there and score that easily. That'll stick with those guys for a while.
2nd and 17 for McNair, and he goes long for McCarron's, and that's going to be intercepted by Philip Buchanan. What a start for this kid Buchanan, 22-year-old rookie from Miami. He had an interception taken away on a challenge early. He has a punt return for touchdown, and this one will count.
Well, he's got to be close to the sidelines on this one too, Dick. I'm screened by all the people down here. But he's got the knee down, and he's got it. You're right.
Oh, what good coverage. With Charles Woodson, and maybe they move him in as a third DB, or maybe Torrey James better watch out the way this kid is playing.
How was Miami doing for cornerbacks? You know, his teammate there, Michael Rumpf, was the #1 choice of the 49ers right across the other side of the bay. That's
that whole defensive backfield went to the NFL.
The whole team went to the NFL. They will sooner or later.
From the 42, and the defense of the Titans have to be a bit disheartened now as they've given up the ball again. They're singing here in Oakland as Gannon fires to the wide open Garner, and a first down at the Tennessee 41.
Well, it appears that the Raiders are wanting 50. They're not going to sit down and just run out the clock. Rich Gannon is still under center, and he's throwing to his stars, and they're not just going to hand it off to Charles Wheatley and try to run it away.
Garner with 60 yards and 6 catches, 58 more rushing. Quick throw right on the money to Tim Brown, and Brown gets a block, and he's free. Touchdown, Raiders. The greatest ever Raider without a Super Bowl appearance, Tim Brown. He's motivated in more ways than one.
And who do you think gives him a block out front? You want to guess Jerry Rice?
I'll guess that.
That would be a very good guess. That touchdown was because Jerry Rice makes the block for his teammate. And Freddie Biletnikoff patting them both on the back. There's one of the best guys that ever played in this league, Fred Biletnikoff, one of the most beloved guys in the Hall of Fame. And what a thrill it has to be for him. There's Jerry out front. Look at that. Timmy Brown breaks to the sideline. Dyson was tied up long enough by Jerry Rice. Wow.
Well, and with that score, is Keith Bullock shaken up a bit, but runs off the field. Janikowski's try for point, if successful, will tie the Raider record for most points in a game. Surprisingly, 52. I would have thought it was higher than that, but they're going to equal 1963, 52 against Houston, and 2 years ago, 52 against Carolina, and this is for 52.
But Dick, isn't this a beautiful thing? I'm sorry for Tennessee, but we're getting to watch Jerry Rice and Tim Brown do the things they do. I'm privileged to be here.
Oh, my. And back here in Oakland with the Raiders tying their all-time scoring mark. It's been a day for the record book as Rod Woodson has extended his touchdowns by interception mark, returning his 11th interception for a touchdown to pad his record. Jerry Rice has moved ahead of the immortal Walter Payton, most yards from scrimmage, and now Bill Callahan's first team has tied the scoring mark for a single game in Raider history. This is a very, very good team, and Rich Gannon, another such a solid game with all the other superstars in this team. You sometimes overlook Gannon. He's got 4 touchdowns and 381 yards passing today. Janikowski to Justin McCarons, and he is hit at the 20-yard line. Bonnie, what do you have for us?
You know, Dick, Jerry Rice is in his 18th season, and you talk about him springing a block for Tim Brown to let him go for a touchdown. We watched him in practice. We saw a little bit of this in the game today. Jerry Rice on the reverse, throwing the ball. He actually threw a touchdown pass to Charlie Garner in practice on Friday. You know, he could rest on his laurels. He holds 14 NFL records, but even at his age, he still wants to be, as Rich Gannon put it, the Michael Jordan of football, the best ever to play the game.
Well, at his position, he arguably has won that battle. Well, it's just a matter now. Raider fans have had a lot to eat. Now it's dessert time. They want some sacks and perhaps to break the record today. Underneath it goes and complete to Frank Wycheck. Romanowski made the tackle.
Well, for Jeff Fisher now, what's he going to do with this football team? He talked about the mindset of this team was not very good given what happened to them, that devastating loss in overtime to Cleveland. Now they're going to have to clean up this mess, and for the second week in a row, Tennessee's going to have to play a team coming off a bye.
The Redskins go to
that's right,
Nashville.
The Redskins next week. The Raiders had an extra week to get ready to play Tennessee, and now it's going to be the Redskins that have had another week to get ready for Tennessee. It really is a difficult challenge, and then on the heels of being 1-3, being a preseason favorite to do something, it's Jeff Fisher has a very difficult week lying ahead of him.
Here's a penalty on the Titans.
Personal foul, 75 offense, using the headgear, unnecessary roughness. 15 yards, first down.
Well, at this point, the officials trying to keep this game in check with the score so lopsided, and we've already had some personal fouls. They don't want this to become a melee. Bullock resting on the sidelines after being shaken a bit on his last appearance. It's an entire team that's been shaken today. They were just stunned early by the quick 21-0 deficit, and the Raiders are not a team you can give 3 touchdowns as a lead and hope to overcome. McNair, what a fine catch for short yardage by Derek Mason as he goes out of bounds at the 20-yard line in the grasp of Derek Gibson. We understand the Chargers have extended their record to 4-0. And how tough is this AFC West? Denver unbeaten. Raiders will be unbeaten. Chargers are unbeaten. They knock off the Super Bowl champions down in San Diego today.
No, you're right. It appears winning that division is going to take some doing.
Oh, as McNair hammered, gets it off, and it's complete for about 7-8 more to Justin McCarons, and on a blitz clean. Oh, man.
Takes a pretty good shot. Big, strong guy. You know, at what point in time as a coach do you say this game's unwinnable and you get Steve McNair out of the ball game? I think Steve McNair is playing right now because Steve McNair really wants to play right now.
That's a good point. Yeah. You have to yank him out.
That's right. I don't think Steve McNair wants to come out, and if he doesn't want to come out, I'd let him keep playing.
That was Eric Barton who blitzed him on the last play. McNair chased from behind, throws, complete. And Derek Mason with good yardage to the Raider 45-yard line as McNair with his all-time passing game, he's headed for 400 yards.
And I think Mason might be hurt, Dick.
Yeah.
He landed and clutched at his left shoulder. Now he's hitting the top of his head, but initially I saw him reach over at his left shoulder. Ooh, now this, like Tennessee, doesn't have enough problems.
Samari Rolle, perhaps their best defensive back, went out in the first half, has not returned.
Let's watch the landing here. Yep, you can see he fell on that left shoulder without any protection. See, he's not able to get his arm out. Watch when he gets spun around. Watch how his left shoulder and arm gets driven into the ground with the weight of 2 tacklers on top of him. And see him grab for it a little bit. He just, when you're not able to break your fall, you see him, he clutches at that. He's clutching at it right there, right off the bat.
All right, let me show you the end of this game here, Dick and Dan. Patriots down 7, desperation time. It's Kevin Falk. He tries to lateral. It falls on the ground, recovered by San Diego. The champs fall for the first time as LaDainian Tomlinson ties the team single-game rushing mark. Get this, 217 yards by Tomlinson today, tying Gary Anderson's team record. Let's go back to Dick and Dan.
All right,
wow.
Jim, and that goes back to the pre-game. You fellas back there had Marcus Allen was out there in San Diego, and it was interesting that LaDainian Tomlinson and young Drew Brees were talking about we might just be the next Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith of the NFL. They're thinking big.
And who did we have playing New England last week?
Kansas City.
And Priest Holmes rushed for how many yards?
840.
It was about 180 or something. It was a whole bunch. So we have now seen 2 weeks in a row where the New England defense has maybe been exposed a little bit. 2 guys have shredded them running the football in back-to-back weeks, and now that's got to be a cause for concern in New England.
Well, as coaches will be and often admit, they are great at thievery. As soon as they see something that works, they're going to steal that idea and use it in their game plan.
Of course, it helps if you have Priest Holmes and LaDainian Tomlinson.
That part helps. Here comes a blitz, and McNair scrambles. He'll run it to the sidelines and then slide down at the 35-yard line. A flag is down. Back at the line of scrimmage. This is going to come back.
Holding, number 71, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Down to 3 minutes and change here in Oakland. One of the longest games of any season. Deflected and intercepted.
Oh.
And guess who?
No. Come on. No.
It's got to be Rod Woodson. It's got to be.
This guy. It doesn't matter where the football goes. It bounces right to Rod Woodson.
His third today. 1 for a touchdown.
Well, a ball that was again thrown a little bit high. Bennett was trying to make the catch. Rod Woodson's going, I can't believe this. It doesn't matter where I go. The ball just comes to me.
64th career interception and his 11th touchdown return to record earlier today. And here is Marcus Tuiasosopo from Washington, the son of a defensive tackle that played some 10 years in the league, Manu Tuiasosopo. Now it's a matter of the heart within for the men on defense. They want to try to stop the Raiders, who are on all cylinders today.
Well, there are. Look at this by Rod. There is an interception he could have fair caught. There's a bobble that bounces right into his arms. He turns into a touchdown. There's another one. He's just standing there. It comes right to him. You know, there are 3 surefire, can't miss, lock Hall of Famers in this football game today. Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, and Rod Woodson. And look at the days. Look at what the 3 of them have had today.
And just to extend how Woodson always seems to be in the right place. In the last game, before the bye against Pittsburgh, he had 3 fumbles roll into his lap. He recovered 3 fumbles.
Old Rod's going to hop in his Mini Cooper and drive home.
We'll be waving to you, Rod.
We'll tell you about the Mini Cooper after this.
And so the Raiders, quarterback Gannon, Alexis and Danielle, his daughters, proudly with Dad. as Tuiasosopo has taken over at quarterback for Gannon, who had 381 yards and 4 touchdowns passing to continue what has been his Pro Bowl sequence here with the Raiders, the Pro Bowl MVP the last 2 years. And I was just thinking, Dan, if you decided at this moment, I'm not suggesting that you were going to throw yourself out over this window, Rod Woodson would catch you and take you for a touchdown.
You know, you might be right. The only thing is, if I was going to throw myself out, I would have done it at halftime. But Rod Woodson, how do you really talk about the day he's had? And again, I'm back to your line. I hate to use it again, but the best sailors have the wind at their back, and he's just been too good for too long, and good things happen to good players.
That's right. He knows it. He said, "Hey, I'm a little lucky today, and I'm going to take every one of them."
Kneel on the ball here, Dick. I know you join me in passing along our condolences here at CBS Sports to Mike, the family of Mike Webster, the Hall of Fame center, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who died this week, only 50 years old, voted to the starting center position on the all-time NFL team, and talk about another great center in this game. There's Hall of Famer Jim Otto, and all of us who loved the game, saddened by the passing of Mike Webster. Lots of problems away from the game, and I saw one of the Steelers who said, maybe finally Mike's in peace, and I hope that's the case.
Only 50.
Yeah. Well, folks, are right back to Nashville, Dick, for these guys.
Yeah, they're 1-3, but Jeff Fisher will remind his team that the Patriots were 1-3 a year ago. And meanwhile, Bill Callahan has this high-energy offense with a veteran and tough defense. And the Oakland Raiders are out of the gate 3-0. Watch out, NFL. A final score of 52-25 in a game that Jerry Rice breaks through Walter Payton, becoming the all-time producer of yardage from scrimmage in the history of the National Football League.